Hi, I'm Shanti with Climate Smart Missoula.
And I'm Lee with the City of Missoula, and we're here today to talk about zero waste because April is Zero Waste Action Month in Missoula.
Yeah, so at Climate Smart Missoula, we talk a lot about energy and all of these other solutions like trees that we can do, but Lee, help me understand, like, where does waste fit into climate solutions in our community? Like, I think of the landfill when I think of zero waste.
Yeah, so when we talk about climate change, we really quantify that by greenhouse gas emissions and how our community measures up comparative to other communities. And we have a landfill here in Missoula, and when we throw materials, particularly organic materials, into the landfill, they create methane, which is a big problem. Methane is a really potent greenhouse gas emission. In fact, it's more than 80 times more potent on a short term than carbon dioxide.
Yeah, that was not something I knew until recently. And like one of the things that like really hit it home for me is it's like the tortoise and the hare. And so like in the beginning, methane is the hare and it takes off and it traps a ton of heat and then it dissipates from the atmosphere. Whereas like carbon dioxide, which we've been talking about for years, is persisting. It's that like trapping heat over time for a really long time. Mm-hmm. But in the short term, like we have to reduce methane if we're gonna reach our climate goals.
We do, yeah. And zero waste isn't just about methane from the landfill. The implications are much farther reaching than that and much more global. When we think about mining, producing, transporting, storing, and then finally discarding all of the stuff and food that we use, it's a huge impact to our global emissions.
Well, so can you tell me more about that? Because like when I think of zero waste, I just think about, okay, don't put it in the landfill if you can. You should recycle it or compost it, but like what else can I do?
Yeah, so a lot of people go right to that, but zero waste is really more of like a big picture circular economy conversation. And so rather than a take, make, waste economy, we talk about more circular than that. And so we're talking about things like reduce. So do you need the things in the first place? And
Probably
can we repair or reuse the materials that we already do have? And then finally discarding. So while recycling and composting is an important element of zero waste, it's really kind of the last thing we ask folks to consider. We ask them to first consider reduce, reuse, and then recycle and compost.
Yeah, I love like that bigger picture thinking because it really gets you thinking about like your role at the start. And then at the end, like you said, there's eventually going to be like things that have to be discarded, but like with recycling in Missoula in particular, like I have heard that a lot of times it's like too contaminated, so all the recycling just goes into the landfill. Like, is that true?
That's not true. That's a big misconception in Missoula is that everything you put in the recycling bin goes to the landfill. Some materials that are meant for recycling do go into the landfill if they're heavily contaminated. There's a big system behind recycling that requires us to properly sort our materials. And if that doesn't happen, unfortunately, some stuff does go to the landfill, but the vast majority of materials put into the recycling bin are going for recycling.
Yeah, that's great. So it's like, again, like that like beginning step for me where it's like, oh, it actually matters that I read my little sheet they give me of what I can and can't recycle. And I think that also like brings some awareness to me of like, oh wow, like I don't want that extra box. I don't want that extra bag. Even if I can recycle it, like I don't want to deal with sorting it now that I'm like looking at my sheet. But that's good to know that it goes into recycling.
Yeah.
So I mean, so we kind of teased it a little bit of like, okay, like what can I do? And like maybe don't buy the thing or like, I don't know, read the recycling sheet, but like what can I actually do in Missoula to reduce waste that matters?
There's quite a bit you can do.
Okay.
Missoula is a wonderful community for zero waste, and every individual action happens. I think a lot of people get intimidated by zero waste because they think they have to be perfect, but you don't. And things like bringing your own bag to the grocery store and bringing your own coffee mug to the coffee shop, or repairing your shoes if they have a hole in them.
My shoes currently are broken and I need to glue them.
Donating extra food to the food bank, going to repair your bike, or there's just so many different opportunities within Missoula that everybody can take action, and every little bit helps because the more you do something and the more you tell your friends about it and the more they do, it becomes
it's a ripple effect.
A ripple effect, yeah.
Like that momentum builds. I really appreciate that because I think like working on climate, I like go between feeling like, oh, it's just so small, does it matter? We need big systemic change, but I love that perspective. Like it actually does matter. Like your choices are making a difference. especially like with that ripple from the start to the finish.
Absolutely. And one other thing that people can do is just really think before you shop. Do you need the thing that you're buying? Is there a better option? Is there something that could last a little bit longer than something that's designed just to be thrown away after a single use? And then when you do have the thing and it is time to discard it, to be really mindful about what you do with those materials.
Yeah, so I'm really excited because later this month we're gonna be exploring like some niches of that, of like, oh, like what about like fast fashion or like food, and all of these different things that from start to finish we can think about differently. So make sure you're tuning in later this month for more videos on how to reduce waste, how it actually matters, and you are part of Climate Solutions. Thanks for being with us today, Lee.
Thank you, and thank you everybody.